information given in the question, and with this information in your head, you think another information, but you think in Bengali. And when you think in Bengali, you think that, oh yes, my idea is right. And then what happens? Just you write another clause here in English. But as you have thought previously that your thinking is right, then just you write down the clause here in English and you think that your answer is right one. But unfortunately, as you have written a clause in English, there may be hundreds of mistakes, because in a clause there are many grammars to be used, but you don't realize it and you don't revise it. As a result, your answer remains as a wrong one, but you think that your answer is right. So dear students, just before going to the questions, I would like to remind you just 3 rules. So far I can remember, I discussed with you on these questions in the sentence completing sentence. So far I can remember, I told you totally 31 rules. But among them, only 3 rules are very much important for a student to write down the answer here correctly. Number 1, there is a given clause here in the question. A clause is given here. The clause may be dependent one or may be independent one. So as a student, my duty is to write an opposite clause of the given clause in the blanks. So that means, if I would like to make you understand, if there is an independent clause given here, I have to write a dependent clause here. If the clause is dependent here, I have to write an independent clause here. Meaning, what the clauses are given here, I have to write the opposite clause. And you know there are 2 types of clause only. One is independent, another is dependent clause. What you tell as a principal clause and subordinate clause. If the given clause is a principal clause, I have to write down a subordinate clause here. If the clause is subordinate here given, so I will write down here a principal clause. But easily you can remember as independent and dependent. If you see an independent clause, you will write down a dependent clause. If you see a dependent clause here, you will write down an independent clause here. So this is the technique number 1. Technique number 2, if I write down a clause here, so it will be another clause and this is another clause. With these 2 clauses, a complete sentence will be formed here. So you must have to balance the use of tense between these 2 clauses. So you must have to keep the balance. That means the sequence of tenses you must have to maintain. This is question number 2. Number 1, you have to write down the opposite clause which is given in the questions. Number 2, you must have to follow the sequence of tenses. And number 3, what clause you will write down here, that clause must have a relation with that clause. That means your clause should be contextual. You know, your question is a context. So what clause you will write down here? The clauses you will write down here, the clauses should be contextual. You cannot write down any anti-contextual sentences here. You are not permitted. If you write down any anti-contextual sentence here, you will not get any marks. So these 3 rules, if you can remember, if you can follow, then your answer, I hope, will be right. Every answer will be right, no doubt. So dear students, so thank you very much. Just I am going to give you a technique. A person who cultivates land. So it's a clause, but I have to complete the another clause. But as a student, if you have the prior knowledge about the rules of this sentence, this is a relative pronoun and the antecedent of the relative pronoun has been used at the very beginning of the sentences. So according to the rule, which clause you will write down here, you have to start with the verb. So a person who cultivates land, so the next clause I will start with the verb, because this is present tense, so is called a farmer. So you have to write down this particular clause is not that. You may write hundreds of different clauses, no problem, but you have to keep in your mind that with these two clauses you must have to have the relation, have to have the balance of the relation between these two clauses. What I told you, that your clause must be a contextual clauses here, otherwise you will not get the marks. Like that, most of the farmers are so poor that, so this is so poor, so then I have to write the clause here in as a dependent one. As they have no land of their own, so you know this clause is started with as, so this is a dependent clause. I will write down here an independent clause matching the meaning with it. A farmer works very hard, so that meaning, so next clause will be a dependent one, but the marker is used here. Just I will write down here a subject, a verb and an object. It will be okay. Although he works very hard, so you know this is a dependent clause, so I will write down here an independent clause. Okay, dear students, I hope you have got the point, you have got the techniques, you have got the information what I would like to tell you. So how you will write down the answer, just I am going to show you the answer, but be remember your answer should be like this. This is not the matter, but just you will follow, you can write another clauses, no problem, just you have to maintain the three rules. So let us see the answer. Here I have written here, is called a farmer, they have no land of their own. As they have no land of their own, they cultivate others' land. A farmer works very hard so that he can earn his daily necessities. Although he works very hard, he leads a very poor life. So dear student, one information for you, when you will write down the answer in your exam scripts, you must have to copy all the sentences. Just you will copy the question, then you will write your clauses, and you may underline the clause what you will write down in the exam, but the other clause you will not underline. So which clause you will write, just see the sample here in the examination hall, your answer must be like this. But if you just write down your answer in the exam script, you will not get any marks. So be careful about this. So dear students, I have written 5 clauses here, but you have to copy these clauses is not the matter. The matter is that you may write down in another way, but you must have to keep the three balance between these two clauses. Number 1, you have to write the different opposite clause. You have to follow the sequence of tenses, and your clause must be contextual. So dear students, I hope you have understood, and I believe myself strongly that now you can practice at home without any hesitation, and in your exercise book hundreds and thousands of practices are given in your exercise books. You will open your books, you will start practice, and I hope you will be successful within few days and your answer will be right. So dear students, so thank you very much, and for today I would like to again give you thanks, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.